I'm a little more rested right now, but still a drop tired, and this week I almost fell asleep doing a video. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is News and Week in Review, going over news, game news, what I played, all the schedule of the week, stuff like that, topic of the week as well, going through all of that stuff. And the video I almost fell asleep in was 10 games I got rid of twice. If you watch that video, I am drifting off. I started filming at 1 in the morning. Usually it's not a problem for me, but I've been pushing myself a little too much recently, and I'm like literally nodding off through the video. I got a little bit more sleep last night. We should be fine now. And it's early. It's only 9:30, so I should not be falling asleep just yet, at least not this time. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Timestamps, as usual, to everything down below. We'll have all of that. And starting off with the news section, with fairly big news, actually, Backerkit. Backerkit announced that they're doing a crowdfunding platform. Like how we have Kickstarter and we have Gamefound, and technically we also have Game on Tabletop, although they don't really have the same presence, not in the typical sense. But apparently Backerkit's going to start a project, a crowdfunding platform, and if that doesn't convince you, because I can tell you it did not convince me, they also have a whole bunch of names associated with them. We have, if we scroll down over here, we can see Restoration Games, Cephalofair is going to be launching their miniature line over there, Unstable Games, we have Mini Museum, don't actually know Mini Museum, we have Leader Games, Thundergrift, Greater Than Games, we have a lot of companies that are launching their next campaigns over on Backerkit's project. Deepwater Games, XYZ Game Labs. There's a bunch of projects. I mean, a lot of names out there that are heavily invested in whatever happens next here. Which has me intrigued, because when Gamefound first came out, when they first announced they're doing it, I was like, why are you wasting your time? This is a horrible idea. It will not take off. And as I saw more about what Gamefound is doing, I became significantly more intrigued. Also, disclaimer, Gamefound has been a channel sponsor at different times. Then again, Backerkit has also sponsored a video too, so I'm equally conflicted. How about that? Well, not equally conflicted. Gamefound's paid me more than Backerkit, but maybe one day. We'll see. Either way, point is, I don't know why I did that. Point is that Backerkit is doing a crowdfunding platform, project, whatever it is, and I'm curious to see what, like, take a company like Cephalofair and their miniatures line. That's a campaign that is expecting to make millions of dollars. I have to assume. Millions of dollars for the miniature line for Gloomhaven. By launching it on a untested platform, they're taking a huge risk. So they must have seen enough that they believe that this will work out well. I haven't seen any of that, so I'm just going by what they've seen instead. Moving on, we have Before You Play, Monique and Naveen, specifically Monique in this case. They announced in a recent video, the June vlog over here, they announced that Monique is going full-time content creation. In case you didn't know, they're both in the medical field. They both, I believe, I'm not entirely sure. They're both in the medical field. Let's stick with what I know. And Monique and Naveen, they've been doing videos for quite some time. The channel has grown incredibly well. One of the fastest, if not the fastest growing channel in the board game space at the moment. And they are, well, she is taking a bit of a step back from full-time in order to do content creation full-time. There's not necessarily a lot of changes to the content. You can check out the video, but they might be adjusting a bit. They're still going to be doing some sponsored content. I think they're going to be doing a lot more Patreon voting and choosing, so if you want any of that, you can check out the Patreon. But as someone who recently went full-time myself, I'm very excited for her. I'm very excited for... I don't know what her job was like or any of that. I don't know, but I mean... I know what my past 2 months have been like, and I'm very excited for her. From there, we have Quackalope. Quackalope is doing something that I can't actually show you yet because it's not up yet, at least not when I'm filming this. It will be up when you're watching this. If you head on over to Quackalope's channel, actually it's probably up when you're watching this, or up later this day. I don't know exactly, we'll find out. But if you head over to Quackalope's channel, he's giving away a board game table. I paused for effect there. He's giving away a board game table. He's not giving away a board game. He's not giving away Kingdom Death Monster. He's not, well, he actually is giving away all those things too, but he's also giving away a board game table. I highly recommend you check out that video. That's going to be worth the time it takes to comment and quack wherever he ends up sending you, because he's giving away a board game table. I'm just going to say that again. In case you're someone who wanted a board game table, I believe it's going to be from Geek and Son, if I'm not mistaken, but it's a full game table. It's not a coffee table, full game table being given away over on Quackalope's channel. I felt that was worth mentioning. From there, we're going to go into whatever this is, Dawnshade the Watcher's Prophecy. So this is actually an unfortunate update, another casualty of the pandemic, which is Dawnshade and Highborne Games. They are unfortunately closing up shop. That's the short version. They just don't believe they're still delivering anything, all that stuff. That's still delivering, nothing, no problems there. But they basically said, hey, it seems like we can't really grow this company in the current economic state, and so we're going to call this a wraps on this short-lived company. It's a shame. I mean, this campaign was well run. It's a shame. It's another reminder that we constantly want companies to survive on less than they are practically able to survive on, and that means companies will go away, and companies will stay, companies will go away, companies will raise their prices. There's no good news in here for anyone. The cost of board games is going up. It just is a reality, and that means you have those three categories: companies going away, and companies, well, two categories: companies going away and companies raising their prices. Those are the only real categories in the long term. In the short term, you might see other things, but in the long term, those are the only two categories you're going to see. From there, we have Destinies Community Editor. This is a competition that Destinies, that Lucky Duck Games is running for Destinies. Effectively, they have a writing competition with $5,000 worth of prizes to whoever wins the writing competition to write scenarios for Destinies. This also means you could go ahead and make it a co-op if you want. You can make it a solo co-op, all that stuff, lean more heavily into it if that's what you're interested in. Don't know much more about it. I've played Destinies, haven't written for Destinies, don't plan on writing for Destinies because I'd rather play Destinies instead. I'd rather you write it, win your $2,500 first place prize, and then I play your scenario instead. Hopefully there's some good co-op content in there, because one of Destiny's biggest weaknesses has been solo and co-op, and I'd love to see some interesting adjustments or tweaks to that. Either way, Destiny's writing competition from Lucky Duck Games. From there we have the last piece of news before we go into games, which is The Breach. The Breach, unfortunately, has a DMCA, is that what it's called? Something DMCA. I think it's called a DMCA. Don't really know. DMCA, yes, it's called DMCA. DMCA was submitted by Riot Games for against Ludus Magnus Studios because of the fact that they're in their game, The Breach, they have lookalike characters for Jinx and Vi. Is that her name? Jinx and Vi. Jinx and Vi. Two characters. And that Ludus Magnus Studios in general often does tribute characters. I've mentioned in the past that there could be problems depending on, I called it for The Mandalorian actually, because Disney tends to be a little Sue-happy, and they had a Mandalorian tribute character in their one of their games that I can't remember the title of, but this time around it's Riot Games, who's also fairly Sue-happy, and I don't know what it means. You'll get your game. None of that you have to worry about. This is just a question of what happens to the characters you thought you were getting and whether changes have to be made. It is what it is. Don't freak out. You're gonna get your game, probably, almost certainly. I mean, I'm not a mind reader. I can't tell the future. I'm just saying this shouldn't impact the actual question of whether you get the game. Into news. News starting off with Village Big Box. The game Village is getting a big box edition with completely new art. That also does not pull me in the slightest, unfortunately. I'm not going to go through the gallery over there. You can check it out, link down below. But it's Fun Plan B Games. They're doing a lot of reprints and releases of stuff. The new art for the big box just doesn't pull me in. I prefer the original Village. Then again, people always have different opinions. I know with Raw recently from 20th Century Games, a lot of people are like, that art looks horrific. It looks like someone threw up all over the box. And I'm like, I like the art. Different tastes for different people, but either way, Village Big Box. Next up, we have Summit and Yeti, an expansion for Summit. I believe this is the expansion. There's a new expansion coming for Summit, I know that. I think it's Yeti. It's possible this is an older page. It's possible I don't have the right thing. Entirely possible. But either way, Summit, in case you weren't aware, from Inside Out Games, well-rated game. Apparently, it's the favorite game of all time from Trey Parker. Trey Parker, the creator of South Park, when he was on the Dice Tower Top 10, he said his favorite game of all time was Summit, which is incredible. I really should get around to playing Summit because of that, because that's certainly not a small thing at all. And they're coming out with an expansion to it, in case you wanted more dangerous stuff going on. Something I am more interested is Quest for El Dorado, Dangers, and Musica. This is a new expansion for the Quest for El Dorado, specifically currently in the European artwork version, the what's the artist's name again? I'm blanking out. The art of something. I can't remember, and I'm totally blanking on the artist's name. I'm gonna be bothered by this. Vincent Tutrait, thank you. Vincent Tutrait is the artist for this particular version. This is over on ladaplit.fi or whatever it is. I'm gonna be going ahead and buying this. The timing's a little bad because I literally just bought the other two in this art style. I love the new art style from Vincent Tutrait. It's not Englishly available. Wow. It's not available in your local game store in the US or Canada, let's put it that way, and it's available internationally, and you can buy it over here. I'll be buying it. I did go ahead, just for the record, what I did is I had a few friends who were interested, so I bought 3 copies of each, the base game and the expansion, the Heroes and Hexes, and I bought 3 copies of each, and that way we split the shipping, so it made it a little more palatable, but we'll be going ahead and doing this over here. That's the Quest for El Dorado. From there, and lastly, we have Welcome Back Ashore to Merchant's Cove Mastercraft. A big box expansion to Merchant's Cove, one that I'm very sad about because I both like the game and haven't been able to table it, and I've been wondering if it goes, and now I'm like, there's new expansion content, but I'm not even playing the expansion content I have now. I really like the game, just in my group, no one wants to play that game with me. Which sounds harsher than I mean it. I mean that the people who would hypothetically play that game would rather play other games that they like more, and so it hasn't gotten tabled even though I kind of like it. I don't know what will happen with Mastercraft. We'll see. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe not. Maybe I'll get rid of Merchant's Cove. We'll find out. And with that, that's going to be all the board game news, which takes us into the topic of the week. Topic of the week, which is going to be a video I did this week. Not a big topic, not a big anything, just basically going over my Blood on the Clocktower video I did this past Sunday. So, let's give some background in case you didn't watch that. Obviously, we'll talk about it shortly when we talk about the general schedule. But this past week, for instance, I was in Origins. I was in Columbus at Origins, and one of the things I did on Thursday night, is I played Blood on the Clocktower. They had a event with a whole bunch of hidden role games and whatnot. I played Blood on the Clocktower. I did not have a good time for a variety of reasons, which I covered in my Sunday video. And then I had a bad enough experience with it that I was like, this makes for a fun video. Let's go ahead and have this conversation. And so Sunday was a video that was not a review, and I made it clear it was not a review. Or it's clear, I probably could have made it clear it was not a review, but I've also used the title, "This is not a review" before, and I didn't want to overuse that title. But either way, I did a video on my experience. I called it my most disappointing experience of the year, Blood on the Clocktower. And it's not purely about the game. And I make that clear from the get-go. I make it very clear that it's about a variety of factors around the game, and including the game at the same time. There was a lot of pushback on that video. A lot of pushback. And as I'm wont to do, I like talking about the pushback. I like going into things and talking about the conversation and that video. And to be off the bat, this isn't a defense or anything else. This is more of an explanation and a conversation, because I have to wonder myself what my obligations are as somebody who reviews board games. See, the very starting point is I've always treated this channel as a conversation. I've always treated this whole thing as me talking to you and just telling you about stuff. Whatever stuff that might be. Stuff I'm thinking about, stuff I'm looking forward to playing, games I'm talking about, thoughts I have, opinions I have, whimsically saying the wrong thing and then going, hey, Alex, whatever it is. I like this. It's not just about the board games. The board games are important. The board games are the glue that holds the channel together, but I like this. I like this exchange. It's why when I get tired sometimes and a little bit overwhelmed and have too much going on, sometimes I'll sit down and just talk to the camera and enjoy that process. I find it therapeutic. I enjoy the conversation. The board games are great. They're why I'm here, let's be honest, but I like everything around it too. And the practical reality of that is that when I have a terribly bad experience playing a game, which I did with this game, I kind of want to talk about it. And it's not a review. And I made that clear, although, again, I could have made it clearer. This is where I get myself into trouble, because normally I would have made it clearer that this is not a review. Maybe calling it not a review. Maybe even leaving the title Blood on the Clocktower out of the video title and thumbnail or whatever it is. The problem is I've titled things "This is not a review" before, and I've said "This is not a review" in the past, and I don't like overusing the same lines, especially when it's a different situation. That's on me. And I made sure to pin a comment later saying, hey, not a review, this is me talking about my experience, take what you want out of that. Because I had a lot of people who really like Blood on the Clocktower who were not happy with that video. Which is cool, I respect that. But I also think I was clear about the situation. And the situation, in short, is that there were a lot of external factors as to why I had less fun that night, as to why I had a fairly miserable time playing that game. And a lot of them relate to Blood on the Clocktower, or larger con games in general, but some of them were specific to Blood on the Clocktower, some of them were not, and I just try to make it very clear in the video where and when I was talking about different things. Including, by the way, something I made very clear, and I'll double down again, is I don't blame anyone who hosted the event, the person running the game. They all did a fantastic job, very welcoming, very everything. There's no complaints here. This is just me saying, hey, I had a very bad time playing this game, and I want to talk about it because I like the conversation. There were a variety of comments that I thought were particularly interesting or amusing. One comment I saw that was very on point, like I thought it myself, is someone said this reminded him of Tom Vassel's, not really a review, but first impressions of Food Chain Magnate. And I was like, it's funny that you say that, because when filming this, I had that same mental mindset. And it's funny, because one of the first videos in the channel, like maybe the 4th or 5th video I did on this channel, was me responding to Tom Vassel's review of Food Chain Magnate, saying, hey, I totally get you didn't have a good experience. Also, here are the various factors that I think that really are worth mentioning. Not saying you should play it again, just mentioning it. And that was me responding to him back then, and now I'm doing the same thing now. Although again, I'm open to the fact, I made it very clear, I'm open to the fact that Blood on the Clocktower might be a fantastic game. I'm telling you why I won't play it again. That's one comment I saw. Another comment I saw that was, I particularly enjoyed this comment, was somebody who said, hey, this review kind of feels like you're saying, I had a really bad time eating pizza on a bicycle in the rain, and so I don't like pizza, and I don't recommend eating pizza because I had a bad time eating pizza on a bicycle in the rain. Meaning, in other words, he was making a joke, a funny joke, well phrased, about the idea that this was reviewing external circumstances, not the game, so pizza shouldn't have even been in the conversation at all. And I pointed out that, hey, you're right, you're not wrong at all, except in the case of this type of pizza, a lot of people's first experience eating pizza is apparently on a bicycle in the rain. I think Blood on the Clocktower, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think Blood on the Clocktower often is a convention-based game. It often is done in large rooms with lots of people, with all these external factors that I talked about in my video, all these other peripherals that made the experience worse for me. And so if a lot of people are eating pizza for the first time on a bicycle in the rain, I think it's worth them knowing that there are some people who don't like eating pizza on a bicycle in the rain. That was my response to the guy, and he, to his credit, he's like, fair enough, okay, cool. I don't remember all the comments. I wasn't going through all of them in terms of this. It was more just, to me, this is just about the idea that I wanted to talk about me playing a game. And the fact that I didn't enjoy myself. Because I want to. But then there is the mindset, the balance of, maybe it's not fair. Maybe there's a degree of... Maybe there's a degree of when you hit a certain point, you just can't vent a certain way. I certainly do feel that way already, by the way. I used to say things casually like, I hate this game. And I don't say that anymore. Because I'm much more mindful of the fact that when you're not talking to anyone, when you're talking to your buddies, you can say, I hate that game. When you're talking to thousands of people, you can't say, I hate that game, because it can hurt someone and you're not hurting someone fairly. At least be fair in your critique. Give reasons, give nuance, give context. Don't just say, I hate the game. Say why you hate the game and how strongly you feel. And do you actually hate the game, or do you just rather play something else? And so I do believe that at a certain point, you can't have the same conversation that someone else can. There's more gravitas to the words I say than before. And so I have to be mindful of that. And I thought I was being. Hopefully I was being. That's why I tried to specifically separate in the video. Multiple times I specifically separated between this is something related to Blood on the Clocktower, this is something peripheral. I think a lot of people, based on the comments though, took that to mean I shouldn't have talked about Blood on the Clocktower at all, which is possible. Maybe I should have just said a game. Maybe it shouldn't have been about Blood on the Clocktower. It's possible. I don't really know though. But that's basically it. There's not a long topic of the week this week. It's more about the fact that I had a bad experience playing Blood on the Clocktower. Oh wait, one more thing. Sorry, I do want to address one more comment, because I saw a few people saying this comment that I really want to address this one. I've said in the past, multiple times, that one of my favorite compliments I get is when someone meets me and they're like, you're just like who you are on camera, like you seem the same. It's not just like an act, it's like in real life you're the same person. And I love that, I really do. The counter to that is that there were a bunch of comments that took something I said the wrong way, and I sadly can't clarify it to all of them, but hopefully I'll clarify a little bit here to whoever's seeing this one, which I talked about the nature of introvert versus extrovert, of recharging your batteries, of sometimes I need to walk outside, sit down, recharge a bit so I can go back in with a smile on my face. And a few people took that to mean that the smile's faked, which is not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying in the slightest. My favorite photo, for context, my favorite photo from the entire convention that I took is a photo where a fan walked up and said, hey, can we get a photo? And it was me and a bunch of other content creators. It was Chris George, Room and Board, Professor Meg. It was Sheer from Quackalope, and this guy and his son. And then all of us just standing there smiling ear to ear. It's amazing. Like, I love that photo. Everything is completely genuine in that photo. The concept of going outside to recharge is not so that I can fake the smile for another half hour. It's so that the smile's not faked for another half hour. That was the whole point. I got a few comments. People were like, oh, I hope you don't have to like fake smile when you meet me. And I'm like, no, that's the whole point of going outside. The point of going outside is it recharges my batteries. Being inside, being around others to a certain extent, it slowly does get to you. So you go outside, you take a breather, you grab a sip of water or whatever it is, you walk and grab a coffee. Coffee is delightful. And then you recharge and you go back in for that next moment of fun. It is exactly so that it's not faked. I don't want people thinking that I'm having fun. Trust me on this. But that's the topic of the week, which brings us to the week in review, and more specifically what I played. Let's go ahead and pull this up over here. What I played. I'm so far behind right now. Everything is still completely in my emails. I have not logged plays in like a week and a half at this point. Let's go to my draft. More than a week and a half. It's been like 2 weeks. It's not good. It's not good. I'm very behind, but let's go ahead and see what we can find. I'm trying to remember where we left off last time. I probably played those. I'm probably up to here. So I'm going to go with where I think I'm up to, but let's go ahead and find out. So, I played Gloomhaven. This would be last Tuesday with Professor Meg. Got on, played Gloomhaven. We do that on Twitch over at Camp Co-op. Always a link in the description down below. People always like, where's the Twitch channel? Linked in every single video at the very top. We're having a lot of fun with that. But I played Gloomhaven with her. We lost horribly. Spoilers, sorry. That was last Tuesday, not this Tuesday. This Tuesday I won't spoil it for you. Okay, you can have to watch it. Then we had Tuesday. Then we had Azul. Got a few games of Azul in. That was also with Meg. After Gloomhaven, we got a few games of Azul in. Then on Wednesday, I played Bandito. 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 I got multiple plays of Bandito in. I played Bandida before. This is playing Bandito. Same basic game. Bandito's just got powers and abilities. I think I prefer Bandito. It's simpler and more to the point, which usually I like powers and abilities. In this game, I think it works better as is. We have Scout. I got a play of Scout in. Interesting game. Interesting game. It's all about ordering cards in your hand. I want to play it again at lower player counts. I think at higher player counts, I think it was a little too messy, but I like the concept, and I wonder how it plays at 3 and 4. 5 was a little too much for me. Then we have Blood on the Clocktower. I got a play of Blood on the Clocktower in. You know how that went. Then we have Empire's End. I got a play of Empire's End in. Empire's End is the new game from John D. Clare and Brotherwise Games. Art by Emerson... No, that's Emerson. She's a designer. Art by... I forget the artist. Same designer as... same artist as Rolling Heights. He's worked with John D. Clare before, which was Rolling Heights. And I'm blanking on his name. Quanti... I'm blanking on the name. But played Empire's End. It was intriguing. I'm curious to see... I want to play it more. Right now it falls in the category of, I think it's a fun game. Well, it is a fun game, not that the question. It's a fun game, but I'm not sure how the longevity will be. That's what I need to play more to see, to get a feeling for. I'm curious if it's the kind of game that's good for 5 plays, or is it good for 15 plays? I don't really know, but I did enjoy it. I just felt it was a little on the lighter side. Then on Friday we got in a play of Cloudspire. That was delightful. I love Cloudspire. I mean, I only just played Cloudspire for the first time, but I love it based on the one play so far. We have Night of the Ninja. Got a play of Night of the Ninja in. They were running a little tournament over there, so I got a few plays of Night of the Ninja in. We have Skulls of Sedlick. I got to play of Skulls of Sedlick in. Always fun to table that one. Really enjoy it whenever I can. Then we have... Do I have more Skulls? Yeah, over there. Then we have Saturday. Saturday I played Brew. Brew's going to be from Pandasaurus Games. Very mean game. I'll probably be playing it some more, getting some review content. Very, very mean game. Then we have Foundations of Rome. Always fun to play Foundations of Rome. When did I play Foundations? Oh, that's right. I played Foundations of Rome. That's right. I'm trying to remember. I was like, I didn't play Foundations of Rome. I did, though. I did play Foundations of Rome. Always fun. Got Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, Spies, Lies, and Disguise. That's the newer standalone version of it. You could mix and match with the original. Really enjoyed it. I thought it would be like a kind of a letdown. I thought it would be like, hey, okay, congratulations. We have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, but we already have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and why is this one worse? And it's not worse. It's just as good. I really, really enjoyed it from Arcane Wonders. Then we have no plays. I'm just going day by day over here. Then we have more Gloomhaven. Got more plays of Gloomhaven in, again, on Twitch over there. You can check that out. And then we have Welcome... Wait, where's my... What? I need to make a note here. So give me a second here. Edit. Why can't I edit this? Edit. Because I left out a play over here. There's a play over there of Crimson Scales. I got in a play of Crimson Scales that I forgot to log over here. Because I got in a play of Gloomhaven over on Twitch, but I also got a play of the Crimson Scales expansion, basically over on Quackalope. He has a video coming out soon, I don't know exactly when, where we played Crimson Scales, going through that. Then Welcome 2. Got some plays of Welcome 2 in. Zombicide Roll and Write. I played the Zombicide Gear Up. That's the Zombicide Roll and Write game. Got a play of that in. Have more plays coming soon, then probably a review on the channel. And then Resident Evil 3. Got another play of Resident Evil 3 in, which I've been going through again over on Twitch as well. There's some things we're doing with Press and Meg, where we kind of have this whole co-op channel, but some things we're doing together and some things we're doing separately. So you can expect different forms of content from different ones of us at different points, and sometimes the two of us together. And that's what I played the past week. So not bad. Could do better, but could do worse. Which brings us to the schedule of the week. Schedule of the week, going through all the stuff we have starting off the bat. We have Saturday. Saturday was a review for Juicy Fruits. I gave that one a 3.5. Think it's a really, really solid gateway game. Still a gateway game. Not a game that I feel needs to stay around, but a game that I did enjoy. Later on Saturday, we had a review for Skyrise. That's going to be an active Kickstarter from Roxley Games. It's a really good game. It's a re-implementation of Metropolis. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was very solid. The bidding mechanism is very, very well done. It's a little pricey on Kickstarter, so you have to decide how much you want it, but I did really enjoy it. Then on Sunday we had that review for my most disappointing experience of the year, or the past 2 years possibly. It's been a while since I didn't enjoy a game that much. And part of what made it worse is the fact that I couldn't just quit. Usually when I'm playing a game with my friends and we're having a bad time, we usually pick up on it and sense it, and eventually someone says, hey, we're not having a good time, right? And we're all like, thank God you said something. Couldn't do that in that situation, which definitely made the situation worse. It's just the nature of playing games with people that you don't know. There's a balance there as far as the things you can do versus not do. On Monday we had if I could only have backed 10 Kickstarters ever. Some caveats to that, including what I'm actually counting. I wasn't counting anything late pledge, I wasn't counting any Gamefounds, I wasn't counting anything that hadn't arrived yet. But once you exclude all those, if I could only have backed 10 Kickstarters from all the ones that I backed, which is roughly, I want to guess, around 125, once you remove those exclusions, it's around 125 Kickstarters, and I'm condensing it to, if I could only back 10, which would I have backed? And so that's Monday's video. Tuesday was a review for Septima that apparently went out a bit too early. Short version is Septima launched on Thursday. It was originally going to launch on Tuesday. They changed it, and I missed the fact they changed changed it. So my review went up, at which point I apparently got like 14 people trying to contact me to take it down. Eventually I unlisted it when I found the messages and unlisted it, and it went back up this past Thursday. So the review is available, but in case you're one of those people who's like, where did the Septima review go? That's where it went. It was temporarily unlisted because there's a content ban. What's it called? I'm blanking on the term. When you have a ban on the content, I'm blanking on the term, but they had all content creators had to wait until Thursday to put their content up, and so I now waited till Thursday. My opinion of Septima is it's my first Mind Clash game. I kind of want to get more plays of it. I liked it without loving it. I thought it was solid. I thought it did a lot of interweaving aspects, very, very fun in many ways. Also didn't spark joy for me either. I believe I give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's very, very well done because the balances, we got a few plays of it in. It's really well done trying to chain all your actions. I just didn't get the sense of the greater drive as to why I cared past that. But that's Septima. Later on Tuesday, we had a review for Get On Board. It's going to be from Yellow Games. It's a little roll and write kind of adjacent game of building a bus route. It's a re-implementation of Let's Make a Bus Route. Later on Tuesday, we had a review for Knockdown. Knockdown, the series of games from Awakened Realms Light. Covered all of them. I thought they were all fine. There were 3s. They were good games, but they weren't amazing games for me. They were just good games that were fun, had a little dexterity gimmick, but not ones that I feel I need to keep around. Then on Wednesday we had a, what am I doing here? Wednesday we had a live Q&A going up. And then later on Wednesday, that was just a live Q&A. We generally try to have live content every Wednesday at 10 a.m., except last week when I was at Origins, but this week, yes. And then later on Wednesday, we had the A's, B's, and C's quiz show. Basically, while at Origins, Professor Meg and I sat down, did a bit of a quiz show, and it was just going through the letters of the alphabet and trying to come up with different letters. And I got a lot of comments in that video of people who are like, I can't believe you missed this, and you missed that, and you missed this. Trust me, try this competition with your friends. Try it with your friends with a timer on and all that stuff. The pressure goes on a lot faster when you have a little stop clock going and you're like trying to desperately figure it out. And also you have to be mindful that we're doing a video, which means we have to be mindful of dead air. We can't just sit there being like, R. I can think of an R. Ruthless. Ruthless. There we go. Okay, good, my turn. Raccoon Tycoon. Raccoon Tycoon. Okay, cool. You can't do that in a video. You see how awkward and long those pauses were? So there's always the additional tension. Don't get me wrong, no one was like overly critical. Everyone was just like, I can't believe you forgot this one. And I'm like, I can't believe I forgot it either. The pressure messes with you. But it was a fun show. Meg apparently has an idea of a different way of doing it the next time. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but there'll be more of that at some point. Then that was Wednesday. On Thursday we had 10 games I got rid of again. 10 games I got rid of twice, basically. Games I got rid of. A few weeks ago, I did a video, 10 games I got rid of and got back, and now I love them. This one was 10 games I got rid of, got back, and remembered why I got rid of them in the first place. This was the video where I'm basically falling asleep in it. If you check it out, just go to like, I don't know, like 15 minutes in and just watch, and I'm kind of like semi-drifting. I'm just like, my eyes are closing, and I'm like trying to keep them open. It's bad. It's really bad. I didn't realize how bad it looked until later, because yeah, it's bad. But anyways, that was Thursday. Friday, we had What I Played in May, going over the various games I played in, well, May. Just the full review of all the May games and all the stuff, because we're currently in June. That feels like it's a little late. Either way, What I Played in May is coming up on Friday. And then from there we have today. Today we're going to have a few things. We're going to have, and this is dependent because I still need to edit one of these videos, so we might shift things up. But assuming I don't switch it up, we're going to look at two videos. We're looking at reviewing 3 abstract games, basically playing 3 abstract games first. With Ivy Games, I sat down and played 3 abstracts, Mythic Mischief, Santorini, and TAC. And then a separate video coming up later in the day, reviewing those 3 games. That's what you can expect coming up today. Which brings us to next week. Next week we're going to have a few things. We will finally have a 2-back or not to back. It's been 2 weeks without it. I've missed it, I know. And yeah, we'll have one coming up this week, a 2-back or not to back. And then lastly, well not lastly, one of the other things we'll have coming up this week is 10 games we want to play this summer. A video I did together with Kidsplaining, just covering different games we want to play across the course of the summer. You can check that out as well. Which brings us lastly to the games on the table. Games on the table, we have 4 games here, as usual, just games I want to table this weekend. I'm guessing I table at least 2 of them, but we'll see. Well, I'm not entirely sure. I always put them down. Usually I get around half. That's what ends up happening. We have Lunar Rush, which I've already played. This is from Dead Alive Games. This is going to be an upcoming Kickstarter. Solid game. Really enjoyed it. Need to be playing it more before I cover it. We have Mortem over here. Mortem Medieval Detective from Arcane Wonders. This is a detective game that kind of aligns a bit with a D&D experience. So it's a mix of D&D and detective. Very intrigued. Curious to see how this will play. We have Tidal Blades, which is Tidal Blades Banner Festival. This is a trick-taking game from Druid City Games and James Hudson. Very intrigued. I've been getting into trick-taking recently, and I've heard good things about this one. And then we have Cactus Town. Cactus Town is one that's coming to you from Second Gate Games, and I hope to cover this one as soon as I have a chance. Already read the rules to this one. Rules-wise, I know 3 of these. The only rules I don't know is Banner Festival. Rules-wise, I'm ready prepped to go on 3 of these, just a question of whether I get it tabled or not. And that's your week in review. Until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Thanks for sticking around, and as always, have a good one.